The man was horrified to discover the maid's smile was mechanical and eerie. The male servant's eyes were cold, looking at him as if he were an enemy. The strangest thing was his girlfriend's parents. When they saw the protagonist's nicotine addiction acting up, they said it was a bad habit, and even offered to help him. It turned out that his girlfriend's mother could use hypnosis to help him quit smoking, but the protagonist resolutely refused. At this moment, the maid came over to pour tea, but as the tea was poured fuller and fuller, her eyes began to lose focus. Finally, when she woke up, the tea had overflowed, and she quickly returned to normal. The protagonist began to realize that these people were not normal. Late at night, he was awakened by mosquito bites, so he decided to go for a walk outside, but suddenly he saw someone running towards him. He quickly approached, suddenly turning a corner. The protagonist unintentionally looked back. He was so frightened that he ran back into the house, but was invited to chat by his girlfriend's mother. During the conversation, she used rubbing a cup to hypnotize him, asking him about the details of his mother's death. Soon his consciousness returned to his childhood. It turned out that when his mother died in a car accident, he was watching TV. He found that his mother hadn't come home but didn't call the police in time. This incident had always made him feel guilty. Under her continuous hypnosis, he finally had a mental breakdown. His whole body was also unable to move.
Sink into the floor.
Wait.
Sink.
His consciousness fell into darkness. No matter how hard he struggled, he couldn't return to reality. Suddenly he woke up from the bed. It turned out to be a nightmare. The next day, his girlfriend's family held a party. They all praised the protagonist as a handsome guy, even touching his muscles. The protagonist felt a little embarrassed, so he went outside to take pictures. Suddenly he saw a black man. He wanted to strike up a conversation, but the other person's movements were slow. His expression was dazed, completely abnormal. At this moment, a wealthy woman came over. The two were obviously a couple. She made her husband turn around to show his body. The protagonist felt something was wrong, so he went upstairs back to his room. But as soon as he went up, everyone downstairs instantly fell silent, pricking up their ears to listen to his movements. Suddenly the maid appeared, laughing and crying at the same time. The protagonist was so frightened that he quickly went downstairs. As a result, the doorway was full of people. Looking at the black man, the protagonist secretly took out his phone and pressed the shutter button. He secretly pressed the shutter button. The man's smile instantly froze, then blood gushed from his nose. He stared intently at the protagonist.
Get out! Yo, chill, man. Chill, man.
Someone pulled the black man away, but he continued to scream wildly. The girlfriend's father explained that the black man had epilepsy. At this moment, the black man walked out, appearing to have recovered. He apologized to everyone, and even thanked the girlfriend's mother. It turned out he had just been hypnotized, but the protagonist knew this was definitely not epilepsy. Meanwhile, an auction was taking place. The auctioneer was the girlfriend's father, and the item being auctioned was the protagonist. Ultimately, a blind man won the auction. The protagonist and his girlfriend decided to leave. He sent the black man's photo to his brother for investigation. A few minutes later, his brother called. Sure enough, the black man had disappeared 6 months ago, and now he was in this small town, looking completely different. In any case, the protagonist decided to leave immediately, but he unintentionally saw a box. Inside were photos of his girlfriend and a black man together. All the photos were of the black man. When he flipped to the second to last picture, wasn't that the male servant from his house? The protagonist, terrified, quickly ran downstairs, but the girlfriend's brother blocked the doorway. The girlfriend's parents also appeared. The protagonist urged his girlfriend to find the car keys, but she couldn't find them no matter how hard she looked. He couldn't help but yell,
Rose! Rose, get your teeth!
Be careful, bro.
It seemed they weren't going to hide it anymore. Sure enough, the girlfriend took out the keys, but didn't intend to give them to him. The protagonist wanted to run, but the girlfriend's mother tapped a glass, instantly hypnotizing him. When he woke up, he found his hands and feet were tightly bound. At this moment, the television in front of him turned on. At this point, he understood their entire conspiracy. The man wanted to possess the protagonist's strong body. First, he used hypnosis to put him to sleep. Then he removed part of his brain and replaced it with his own brain. This way, they could continue to live. But what the old man wanted was the protagonist's eyes. The protagonist went completely insane, but soon he looked at the cotton sticking out of the armrest and seemed to have an idea. Soon, a hypnotic image appeared on the TV, causing him to quickly fall asleep again. Meanwhile, the girlfriend's father cut open the old man's skull, and the girlfriend's brother untied the protagonist, preparing to push him to the operating room. But the next second, it turned out that the cotton helped him avoid the hypnosis. Revenge time had arrived. The protagonist stabbed the girlfriend's father to death with a camel specimen. Then he encountered the girlfriend's mother. Seeing the hypnotic device on the table, the protagonist knew what she wanted to do. He rushed forward and smashed it. She grabbed a weapon and stabbed the protagonist, but the next second, just as he was about to escape, the girlfriend's brother suddenly rushed over and hugged him, but the protagonist quickly stabbed him, then forcefully stomped him to death. He killed 3 out of the 4 family members. The protagonist prepared to drive away from the town. Suddenly, he accidentally hit someone. It was the housemaid. He carried the housemaid into the car, but the girlfriend nearby said,
Grandma.
It turned out that the housemaid's brain belonged to the girlfriend's grandmother.
You ruined my...
The seriously injured protagonist woke up. He limped away. The girlfriend shot at him from behind.
Get him, Grandpa.
It turned out that the male servant was the girlfriend's grandfather. He tackled the protagonist, but at the moment of life and death, the protagonist turned on the flashlight. The male servant's consciousness was stimulated and awakened. He took the girlfriend's shotgun. But the next second, he shot himself. At this time, the girlfriend was still alive. He wanted to strangle the girlfriend, but he couldn't bring himself to kill her. The girlfriend showed a victorious smile. At this moment, police cars arrived. The girlfriend started shouting for help. The protagonist helplessly raised his hands. A total of 5 lives were lost. How would he explain this to the police? But the person who got out of the car was his brother. So he drove the protagonist away, leaving the girlfriend lying on the ground to die alone in the end. A man with pale white pupils is walking down the street. A cop senses something wrong with him. He quickly orders the man to stop, but when the man turns around, he's covered in blood.
I think I hurt someone.
Soon the police find a dead body. It's the suspect's landlord. The creepy part is, the suspect John pleads not guilty. His excuse is that he was possessed by a demon. Let's go back 1 week. John, his girlfriend's family, and the Warrens, the demonologist couple, are holding an exorcism. Facing the powerful demon. They try their best, but it's useless. In desperation, John begs the demon.
Leave him alone and take me!
Then the boy calms down, but John's pupils turn eerie. Soon, possessed John mistakes the landlord for the demon and kills him with his own hands. To prove John's innocence, his girlfriend asks the Warrens to investigate. Strangely enough, they find no trace of a demon in John, but they still persuade the lawyer to defend him. With no solid evidence, the prosecutor insists on sentencing him to death. To find out the truth, they spot mysterious glue marks on the floor. Years of exorcism experience tell them something's hidden below. Sure enough, the wife finds an item underneath. It's a weird-looking totem. It turns out to be a satanic cult totem. Someone used it to curse the boy. John volunteered to let the demon transfer into his body. The demon controlled John to commit the murder, then left his body right after. That explains why no demon trace was found. To catch the culprit behind it, the Warrens go to a priest. The priest warns them not to meddle. He says the cursed John is doomed to die. Meanwhile, in another place, an altar appears in the dark. Someone is ready to cast a curse, and the photo on the altar is John. Satanic cult members curse the man to die, just as the man tries to pick up a bucket. Then the lights go out. A prisoner suddenly stands up, chanting an eerie rhyme. David backs away in terror. The next day, the demonologist couple gets a call. The police say they have a lead on the curse. It turns out 4 months ago, 2 teenage girls went into the woods late at night. The next day, police found one of the girls dead. She had been stabbed 22 times. The other girl was missing. Police searched her home and found a totem identical to the one in David's house. It was clearly the work of satanic cult members. If they could find the missing girl, they'd likely find the witch. They head to the woods. The wife uses clairvoyance to replay the murder. The girl's pupils turn white and stabs her friend repeatedly. Her friend falls in agony. She kills her brutally. Then she snaps back to her senses and runs away in fear. Finally, the wife is pulled toward a cliff edge. She nearly falls off, but police find the missing girl's body below. When they get home, they get a call from John's girlfriend. She tells them John is being haunted by the demon again. They ask a priest to send him a bottle of holy water. He draws a circle with the holy water and huddles inside to protect himself. Meanwhile, the demonologist couple sneaks into the morgue late at night. They find the body of the girl who fell to her death. They plan to use clairvoyance to find the culprit. Sure enough, they see a witch casting a spell. She controls John to crush the holy water bottle, takes a shard of glass, and presses it to his wrist, making him attempt suicide by cutting his wrist.
By the blood of Calvary, I command
The curse ritual is broken. John survives, but clairvoyance works both ways. She has exposed her location. The witch breaks into the demonologist couple's home. She threatens them to stay out of this. Just as the husband is about to bring the knife down, their assistant suddenly stops him firmly.